In this video, we are going to talk about the difference between the font size with EM and also the REM, and we will also talk about the VH and also the VW. And first, we just create a simple index.html and also the CSS file. So we create index.html and also create another file called mystyle.css, and then we go back to the index and we just use the template to create this file, and then we also import the CSS with link and then mystyle.css, and inside the body we just create a container, and then inside the container we have a paragraph with just the text with CK Mobile. So now if we run the server with the live server, you can see the text inside the website, and this is just a very simple page. Now we are going to compare the difference between the REM and also the EM. So we back to the CSS file. First we go to add the CSS to the container. So .container, and then we add the text align to center. So if you back to the website, you can see the word already at the center of the page. So we go to continue to change the font size of the text which inside the paragraph. So we go to the paragraph and set the font size. We go to the first with 5 REM, so 5 rem, and you can see the text is much larger, but what is the actual pixels of the 5 rem? So if we go to the developer tools and go to the computer properties, and we can go to the font size, select the paragraph, we go to the font size, you can see this is 80 pixels. So why this is 80 pixels? If you click on the HTML and then you go back to the font size, you can see the root element font size is 16 pixels. So if you used 5 rems, which means 16 times 5, which is equal to 80 pixels. So this is how 80 pixels come from. And now if we change this to M, you can see there is no difference. If you go to the paragraph, you can still see the font size is 80 pixels. So we can check this is still 80 pixels. So what is the difference? The difference occurs if we add the styles to the container. For example, if we add the font size at here is 2 pixels. If we save this, now you can see this is much smaller because this M is compared to the parent, and this time the parent is the container because the paragraph is here and its parent is the container. So 5 times 2 becomes 10 pixels. So if you go to here and search the font size, you can see this is 10 pixels. If you change back to the rem, because this compare with the root elements do not change, it still use 16 pixels. So it will become large again. So no matter you use how many pixels at your parent, it still keep going with the 80 pixels. So this is the difference between the REMs and EMs. So now we are going to talk about the VH and VW. VH is relative to 1% of the height of the viewport, and VW is relative to the width. Now we are going to add some background colors, and which is blue. So now if we go to the website, and you can see there's background colors. Now if we go to set the height with 100 VH, now it will fill in 100% of the viewport. And if we go to set the 50 VH, and this will become 50% of the height of the viewport. And you may ask why even if we set 100 VH, it's still not 100% because there are some edges in between. So to fix this, we can press the start, and then we set the margin to 0. Now you can see the colors will fill all the spaces inside the browsers. Now if we add another div inside the index.html, and for example, if we set the div.container, and then we also type another paragraph and type welcome to CK Mobile, and then at here we add another class which is container2, and then we set the colors to red. Now if we refresh the page, you still cannot see the red areas because it already filled in all the screen. But if you drag down, you can see the welcome to CK Mobile, this word. And this is how some common design that the background which fill the whole page, and then when you scroll down you can see another background. So now if we are going to focus on the width, so if we set the width to 50% of VW, now you can refresh the page. You can see it just fill in 50% of the view. And so this is VH and VW.